Now, tying quite a few saltwater flies at the moment. Filling a couple of boxes with shrimps. These are kind of basically the flies I'm tying are flies that have been asked over the years. Could have time film I put on YouTube, as well as suggestions, because I did ask if anyone would, if you had a fly in your box for saltwater fishing or even warm water fishing, what would you use? And the patterns was lots and lots, and the Clouser was one of the top patterns asked for. Now the hook choice, this is just a Mustad. I'm just going to show you it. Lying loose on my desk, so here this is the one I'm using. As you can see, it's a size 1, it's just a standard saltwater type hook. There's lots out there. Now I'm going to be using the shank from the eye to the point of the hook. Might just go drift a little bit by the point, but near enough. I'm using that as a guide. Now when you're putting the eyes on for the Clouser, it's a third of the way, or a third of that, so that's about here. So I'm going to get my thread. Now I'm just using an olive thread. You could use whatever thread you have, and this is an Opal. Probably the heavier if you're feeling. I'm quite happy to use the finer. Now what you do is you form a ball, a thread. Now this is not my idea, this is Bob Clouser. It does help to stop the eyes, or locks the eyes in a bit better. Now you tie it this side of the thread, and basically you come round 6 or so turns, then you do on one side, and then you do the same on the other side, just to basically level the eyes up. If you look there. Now I'm going to zigzag through round about maybe 10 times or so, or figure 8, and then I'm going to come underneath the eyes and do round about the same count, nice and tight, and then a couple of 2 or 3 figure 8s just to lock them in, and then end up with your thread in front. Now I'm going to take the thread to the eye. I'm going to come back up, some wax on my thread. At this point it's worth checking that everything's fine. Just get the waste piece here, I'm just going to trim that away. Now the colour combinations, there's lots out there. This is just an olive colour combination. This basically just starts off the white bucktail, goes to a light olive, and then you can see the darker colour there, which is basically the opposite side of the bucktail. So we're forming like base this to give them, with the white bucktail, the impression of the body. So just bring out some bucktail, cut it close to the skin. So we're basically length, you're looking twice in a, or two and a bit lengths of the hook, full length of the hook. So there's 1, so that goes to the back there. It's 2, and there's a quarter or so, which is fine, is there. So we can then trim this in line here. So time it over my bin. Nice straight cut. Make sure you wax your thread, you need the grip. Come over the top. Now I get up, take the cut ends towards myself, and then come over. Now you want this the length of the head, so I just basically keep this tight and wind all the way down to the eye, really tight. And then come all the way back up. And you'll see that obviously sticks the bucktail up into the air. Again, a wee bit more wax on my thread. I'm going to bring the thread to the back of the eyes, put 2 or 3 turns in there, and then I'm going to bring down the bucktail right on top of the shank. Now usually a good half dozen turns there, and then I quickly come down to, I'm in line with the point of the hook. So if I let the thread go, it's in line, and then I come back up. Now I'm going to add colour to this part of the body, and I'm going to use the Opal Mirage, this one, the large. Now you could use a pearl, or you could just leave it. the way it is, that there will hold fine. If I can find the end of this, I'll be able to tie it on somewhere. There we are. Now you can see my thread's up at the top here, so what I'm going to do is wind towards the bucktail, just catch it on my side, and just work my way down. Right up against the tail, in this case, all the way back up. And now to protect that, you could wind over some varnish or super glue, or you could rib it, it's up to yourself. I'm just going to put some varnish there. So just wind up, all the way up. And then what I'm going to do here is basically take my thread to the front, and then I'm going to zigzag through a couple of times with the Opal Mirage and tie it off at the front. Now what that does, as you can see there, it goes very red light over the especially the white. Gives an impression of probably the gills. Let me tie this in. Now we may varnish the head, but we put a varnish on there which will protect it. So basically there we are. Now we're going to basically put some flash, pearl, got just a Krystal flash, or this one's got a wee touch of orange in it. I like the wee bit of warmth. So you're looking around about half a dozen fibres, this lengths. And we just lay this, we want it short of the tail. So we just catch this on the top, 2 or 3 turns. Just bring out the flash here just to lay it down either side. Now these ends here, I just fold them back and keep them. So again, this is going to be the under wing of a bit of flash underneath. Now I've got the dyed bucktail. This is an olive. Now I'm going to pull off enough for the colour. Cut it close to the skin. So say that doesn't take long. Once you start dyeing these flies, they don't take that long. Now you're looking for a length, which is the same length as the white bucktail, but obviously because you're further up, it's just going to give you the taper. So I'm just rolling it together again, get the length, I catch it on the top, 2 or 3 turns. Now the reason I'm keeping it long is I'm keeping it tight and bringing these up on top. You don't have to do it this way. I'm just going to pull the bucktail through the back. I'm going to trim it. Again, a wee bit of wax on your thread, and then just take your thread down, nice and tight, all the way towards the eye. Now you may slip forward slightly, but what you do is on the way back up, you build up the thread up onto these cut ends. So that'll tidy it up, and then as we work up, we're going to tie in basically the back of the bucktail of the olive. You see this was the brown colour. Now that'll darken it, so you're basically tapering the colour. So we just grab, no, you don't need a lot, it's fine. And tying this on the top now. The length again, just roll it. I'm not being fussy. Don't be fussy with it. You can be too fussy sometimes, which I can be as well. I'm not perfect, so the length, you're obviously shorter than the olive, the bright olive. I come down, now I want to try and form like some kind of taper, so I'm going to cut the bucktail slightly further up. And then wind nice and tight. You can fill your box really quick with these. Now you can basically stop at this, or what I've been doing is I've got, this is a Madeira thread, it's a pearl. Gold can be quite good in the head of this, or the yellow even, but I'm going to use the pearl. So what I'm going to do is catch it on like You can see obviously I've got it on a bobbin. I'm just going to wind up this point here and then try to take away the waste and the thread. Now there's ideas in this, you don't have to copy me exactly. You can fiddle around and tie the fly to suit yourself. I'm going to head my way back down. Just return just to put finish, tighten up, trim that away. Basically that's it. Quick as you can, and then well, I usually, for speed, use the super glue really quick. Just onto the head here. You could use your resin, you use whatever you have. You can allow that to dry. Once that's dry, then I put varnish in. Like I say, like for the underneath the especially these, I don't want to touch it with the super glue. I prefer it to dry a wee bit, just in case it affects it. Just touch the varnish onto there. Couple of coats. You can see it catches the light really well. It's Clouser is a very simple pattern. You really can't go wrong with it, and it will, whether you're fishing. This one here, the sunburst, I've not finished it yet, but this is the sunburst one. I originally tied this here for golden trout. It was a customer asked me, could you do a sunburst coloured brown? And this is what I tied, with the orange eyes, and it worked. Obviously you've got your standard sort of blue. It's tied the same way as this. I've just used the white, blue, then the back of the blue on the top. It gives you your colour. Darkened the head a wee bit so it carries on up. It's just a Pantone pen. In this case it's got the silver dumbbell eyes. So as I say, it's a great style, and a style that you can't go far wrong. So anyway, just as I say, allow that to dry. It's quite hard to show you the Clouser at its best, but basically, because the eyes are on the top of the shank, it flips the hook up, and this is the way it's going to swim as you pull it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and again, if you enjoy the videos, please subscribe, it does help, and thank you for watching.